Hello and welcome to Did I Read a Book or Did I Just Buy a Bunch of Them? The answer is yes. I finally managed to read a book, but in the attempt to do that, I also acquired a lot of books. So without further ado, welcome to my book haul to fix my reading slump. I would like to say they're in an order, but they're not. Also, I'd like to say I'm not going to give a lot of summaries and context for all of these because, quite frankly, we'll be sitting here tomorrow still. And I also don't necessarily know what all of them are about anymore because it's been so long since I bought them. Oops. I'm just gonna get started. In no particular order. First one, we have a graphic novel, Across the Field of Starlight by Blue Delinquency. I assume is how you pronounce their name. And it looks super cute. And it's a graphic novel, and I really want to read it, actually. I haven't had this for very long, so it's not like I've been looking at it and been like, oh no, you're too intimidating. Like, I think graphic novels are a good way to get out of a reading slump. I just haven't picked it up yet. Furthermore, this I actually bought at the same time as the previous book, which is Interviews with Radical Palestinian Women. It's very current. No, how do you say? Poignant? There's a word I'm looking for. Can't find it. Edited by the Show Collective. For obvious reasons, would love to read this. Might as well mention it now. There is a Reading for Palestine campaign going on. I will link some more info below. I found out about it very recently from another booktuber, a model who's read. I keep mispronouncing her channel name. I think that's it. And I will partake in that in September. I'm going to think a bit more about how exactly I want to do it. The general concept is you donate £2 or €2 for each book that you've read in September. However, I will get to my TBR for September, maybe at the end of the video. Just in case anyone wants to join, I highly encourage you. And I'll, again, leave some info below for how you can do that. This book, again, I also haven't had very long, and I really want to read. None of these books have any good reason for me to have not read them, by the way. This is not any kind of reflection of the quality of the book. It is purely a reflection of my lack of time management. Quite frankly. This was also a spontaneous purchase. It's Yours for the Taking by Gabriel Kuhn. And it's, I believe, a sci-fi story. It takes place in 2050. And it's about white corporate feminism, which important to think about. Sorry, I just realized I looked like an idiot for the first bit of this video for holding the mic so far up my face. Apologies. I haven't done this in a while. So yeah, don't know much about this. Just thought it was interesting. And I'll also read that eventually. Next one, we have Frontier by Grace Curtis. Don't actually know their pronouns. Does it say somewhere in the book? Don't know the pronouns, but the signed edition. I've been meaning to read this book, or buy this book to read it. And then I saw that Gaze the Word had the author visit and sign some books. So I was like, let me go pick that up. So I did. And I think the signature is very cute. So yay. Also, it's quite short and it's science fiction. It seems like a dystopian mix of dystopian and science fiction. So it should be interesting. Next was a very spontaneous purchase. I think when I bought Frontier. It's Pole Position by Rebecca J. Caffrey. I have no excuse. I saw it. I like Formula One. Since it wasn't Gay's the Word, I expect it to be gay. That's all I got, really. I think it'll be fun. Probably a fairly quick read. Next, we have The Terraformers, which is another science fiction story, more like distant future, different planet type stuff. It's about, quite frankly, I'm not sure what it's about, but it sounded interesting. So, also it's by Annalee Newitz. Oh goodness, this is dusty. This isn't embarrassing at all. Let me undust this. These three, we are slowly getting to the bottom of this pile. Oh, there's more over there. I haven't even put them in the shot. My goodness. So, here's the deal. Last Halloween, I was like, hey, I should be reading some Halloween-themed books. So I bought some. You can imagine how that went. Not great. What we have is Camilla. It is gay, well, lesbian, sapphic. It's by Sheridan Le Fanu. From my understanding, it's a pretty old book. It inspired, well, it actually says it on the front. It inspired Dracula, so pretty old. And it's a sapphic story. And there is a web series that I watched years ago called Camilla that is really cool. And I'd actually recommend it if you've never watched it. I really enjoyed it. I think it's like one of the random pieces of like queer media I consumed that I actually found like super cool to see. I think it was like one of the first times I saw like a really fleshed out sapphic relationship. It was also not about the sapphic relationship and more about like the vampireness and spookiness of it all. So I have high hopes for this one, even though I think it looks deceptively short. I expect it to be written in a way that will make it slightly harder for me to read. After I've read that, I want to read Carmilla, the First Vampire by Amy Chu and Sue Lee, which is a graphic novel inspired by Carmilla, the book I just showed you. So obviously I'd like to read the original before I read the inspired work, but it looks very short, so. And then the third in the trifecta of books I tried to buy for Halloween vibes, and I'm going to read them the following Halloween probably, is Gideon the Ninth, which also gay, well, also sapphic from my understanding, and the first in a series, trilogy perhaps, by Tamsin Muir. Apologies, I'm gonna go with that. I apologize, all of the names are probably mispronounced. It's also like sci-fi slash fantasy vibes, science fantasy. Remembered correctly. It sounds super fun and probably slightly easier to read just based off of what I've heard. I'm intrigued and it sounds really fun. Should be a good Halloween read. Okay, next. I think we'll go with the older ones. We have Stars in Your Eyes by Case and Calendar. It's a gay rom-com type book, I think. Not sure about the com of it, but it's a romance story about two actors cast in the same movie. It seems like an enemies to lovers type thing. It sounded fun. Next, we have another book by Grace Curtis, Floating Hotel. I entered Forbidden Planet and I saw this book and I had to buy it. I couldn't not. Like, look at this. Anything that's blue, purple, mixed with gold or silver, I'm afraid I am legally obligated to purchase. So this is why I bought this book. And it sounded really fun. And it's also like a space crime thing, I think. Wait, is this signed? Lol. This is also signed. Well, that's nice. I forgot about that. My god. Yeah, it's like a mystery sci-fi thing. And it sounded very fun. And it's also pretty. So, win-win. Next, we have Love After the End, edited by Joshua Whitehead. It's an anthology about... I'm going to read it out because I can't speak. An anthology of two-spirit and indie queer speculative fiction. Can you tell I bought it? That sounds sick as hell. I really want to read that. I'm so intrigued. Why haven't I read it? Who's to say? Anyway. High on the list also. Although I do struggle a bit with anthologies because with other books you get into it and then you're like wrapped up in it and you're like going and reading loads. Obviously with an anthology it's a bit harder, but at the same time you get that sense of accomplishment of like, hey, I finished a story. Like, that's nice also. Hopefully that'll help. Next we have The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, which I've heard good things about, but also I don't remember what I've heard about it. I can't lie, the summary is giving me not much. It sounded cool and I wanted to read it, so I bought it. That's the story of all of these books, I think. Rest is Resistance. I really just read the title and was like, that sounds intriguing. I want to know more. Patricia Hersey, because quite frankly, I don't want to grind. That sounds horrendous. And I think we should not have to. So I'm intrigued to read this and see what kind of case is being made. We have Biracial Britain. Again, one of the books that I just picked up for the title by Remi Adekoya. Yeah, I was just intrigued. I live in the UK. Can't necessarily tell by my accent, I suppose. It sounded interesting. End of the story, really. My goodness, I forgot about these. I feel genuinely terrible for all of these books that like sound sick as hell and I just have not picked up. Why? What is wrong with me? We have another nonfiction by Aja Barber. We have Consumed, The Need for Collective Change, Colonialism, Climate Change, and Consumerism. I watch a lot of like video essays on here about consumerism, about colonialism, post-colonialism, and climate change as well. Like, there's a lot of creators and separate people that talk about these things, people that talk about multiple factors of these. Obviously, all of it kind of connects. So, very excited for this one as well. How many times have I said that in this video? We have Palestine's Horizon Toward a Just Peace by Richard Falk, who was the UN Special Rapporteur for Palestine from 2008 to 2014. So I imagine a person that has a lot of insight, and I am curious to read about it. I'm not sure when this was written. I have a feeling it was pre-2023, but it would be interesting to read regardless, I think. Yeah, copyrights from 2017. So obviously it won't address recent developments. Regardless, it will be really interesting to get his insight. And then we have Opinions. Boy, do I. Opinions by Roxane Gay. It is a essay collection, I think. Resonated with me for obvious reasons. I was just intrigued. Don't know much about the book. Don't actually know much about Roxane Gay either. I know who she is, but that's kind of it. Also, really cool cover. Anything that shines, I have a crow at heart. What do we have? Queer Magic by, I'm gonna go with Thomas Prower. It's about queerness in religions and also queer spirituality and different cultures. I started reading it, much like a lot of the other books that I have yet to show you, and it's been interesting so far. I think there's also some people that have been interviewed or have like little bits in here from the cultures that are being written about, which is obviously always a big bonus and quite necessary, frankly. So yeah, I'm really interested to learn more about this. I'm not personally religious or spiritual, but I do find it really interesting to see, especially like the historical view of queerness in different areas of the world and different epochs. So I think this will be really interesting, but obviously it is a bit more dense with like citations and stuff like that. Moving on, we have Queering the Asian Diaspora by Hong Wei Bao. Again, apologies for my horrendous pronunciation. It's quite short, a small one. I just really want to learn more about what it is like being queer in different cultures to my own, I thought this would be another good step. Next one, Diary of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. It's also signed. I also picked it up at Gaze the Word. It was an accident to find it, and I was so pleased because I have high hopes for this. Also, once again, shiny cover. It's also the chunkiest book in my whole TBR stack. I'm going to put that to the side because I have some more things to say about that in a second. This is a fun one. I have been a Percy Jackson fan since I was a young teenager, I think, and there are new Percy Jackson books being written. So there was the Percy Jackson 5-part series, and then the Heroes of Olympus 5-part series, both of which I've read now. And then there are new Percy Jackson books. There's, I think, a new trilogy. This is the first one. And because I have all the other books in German, I decided to get these in German as well. So this is Percy Jackson. I think the English title is The Chalice of the Gods by Rick Riordan. I've also started this one and not finished. I'm at the very beginning. I love the fact that it's like a vibrant cover because I think the second series got a bit darker in the cover design, and I love that it's like bright red. And I'm intrigued because I love Percy. I want them to have their happy ending, but I think the premise of the 3 books now, skip ahead like 20 seconds if you don't want spoilers for the first 2 Percy Jackson / Heroes of Olympus series now. Basically, Percy wants to apply for university in New Rome, and in order to do that, he needs to be recommended by some gods and get letters of recommendation, so he's doing challenges to get those. I kind of love that. I think that's such a fun premise. That one was a birthday gift. This one was a birthday gift for the following birthday. Even more gorgeous cover. Percy Jackson. Don't know what the title is in English. The German one is Der Zorn der dreifachen Göttin. Don't know what happens in this one. Excited to read both of these. And then we have another birthday gift. More Avatar comics. I'm so excited. And it's the ones that like line up to create a picture as well. I already have 2 from the same edition that has the picture that lines up. We have Avatar The Last Airbender, North and South, The Rift, and Smoke and Shadow. I love the Avatar original series, and I can't wait to read these. Another book that I started late last year is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. And it is about a orc, I think, and she decides she's done doing adventures, doing the classic fantasy story thing, and she wants to do a new thing and open a coffee shop, and she does, and it's very cute. I think I don't really need to say more about this book because most people know about it already, and I'll get to this one in a second as well. Now, the one book that I purchased in the last year and then actually proceeded to finish, albeit over the course of 4 months, which is quite frankly embarrassing, is Stars Too Fondly by Emily Hamilton. It's a sapphic science fiction rom-com mystery. A lot to do in like slightly more than 300 pages. Very fun. It did take me a while to read. I've been overall struggling just with my reading speed, and then I get discouraged because it takes me like an hour to read 6, 7, 8 pages, which is infuriating, as you might imagine. It's been kind of hard to find the time and the motivation to read, even though I love reading and I want to read all of these books. Like, all of these are so sick. I want to read all of them right now. So I'm glad I finally managed to kind of kick it off with this one. I finally finished it. I really quite liked it. It wasn't a full home run, let's say. There were small critiques. I think sometimes it was a bit hard for me to understand where some people were coming from emotionally in the story, but overall, I liked the characters. I thought the whole mystery, sci-fi aspects were really cool. It veered a little bit into fantasy for me. Like, some of the aspects I was like, I need to suspend a lot of disbelief for this. Some of the romance I also struggled with, but overall still sapphic, banter happening, and big sci-fi movements being made. Also, once again, the cover got me. It is shiny, it is colourful, and there's also women on it. So, huge win. Yeah, this was the first book I finished this year. In mid-August. Okay. Better late than never. That was The Stars Too Fondly. Since then, I've also, actually before that, sort of in the middle, because I started multiple of these books. I started the new Percy Jackson book. I started the destroying the environment and being a noisy arsehole. Pick a struggle. I've also started to read Priory of the Orange Tree, because why not start with the fucking biggest book on your TBR if you want to get motivated to read again? I guess. I'm buddy reading it with a friend. Both of us have currently picked up other books, but it's still happening. I'm like 25 pages in. I still haven't got my bearings, but it is a long book, so I'm here for the ride. I think the buddy read will very much help me to actually read it, because otherwise I could just postpone it. But maybe I'll read other books on the side. Currently, my focus is on Legends and Lattes. Keen-eyed people might have seen my short that I made because I wanted to, because I thought it would be fun, because I decided to paint my nails to match the book. I don't know if this is in focus at all. I really hope it is, but also my nail polish has already come off a little bit because it's been a couple days. I thought that would be a good idea. I mean, A, it's fun and cute to hold a book and then it matches your nails. I think that's so fun. I'm also trying to, reconnect a little bit with my girlhood. I used to be a bit of like not like other girls kind of child. Still struggle with makeup, mostly because I just don't have the skills, but I've enjoyed painting my nails recently, so I thought matching it to my book would be cool, and also it's a motivation to not just pick up a different book, because if this one already matches my nails, I might as well read it, you know? The lengths I'm going to. To finally read a book. Yeah, so current read is Legends and Lattes, also Prior of the Orange Tree. The plan, as I said, for September is to partake in reading for Palestine. I am undecided if either I'm going to follow the prompt of donating £2 per book I've read and reading a lot of graphic novel type books. I have multiple short ones that I could get through. Or alternatively, should I decide that I don't want to lose my momentum and I just want to keep going with Legends and Lattes and Priory. If I read Priory of the Orange Tree, that's it for the month. That's the book I'm reading. I might instead donate 20 instead of 2 for each book I finish. I know that I can just easily donate like a lump sum regardless, but I want to stay true to the challenge. But yeah, I don't want to just donate like £4. That is the plan. I'll show you maybe midway through or maybe just at the end of the month how it's going. Fingers crossed. And again, I encourage you to join. I think I need to stop buying books and read them. If that's not the title of the video, I don't know. I think I'll set myself the challenge of maybe reading the books I own before I buy more ones. Problem is, whenever I enter a bookstore, I'm compelled to purchase. I'm able to afford it, but it just seems a bit wasteful to do that when I have so many good books at home. The goal is to read those first. I hope you enjoyed this little haul / wrap up / shaming myself video. Read the books you own and also a free Palestine. See you soon.